Here I'm going to start certificate physical and human geography, which is Leong. Okay, so chapter 1 is related to the Earth and universe. Sunlight takes 8 minutes to reach the Earth. All planets revolve west to east except Uranus. It means Uranus revolves east to west. Then perihelion means closest to Sun, and aphelion means farthest to Sun. Evidences of Earth's sphericity: circumnavigation of the Earth, abrupt drop at the edge of table-like Earth. Increasing altitude widens the circular horizon. If the Earth were flat, the entire ship would be seen or obscured all at once. Sunrise and sunset. If Earth were flat, the whole world would have sunrise and sunset at the same time. Earth rotates its own axis in 24 hours, causing day and night. West to east, it revolves around the sun. 365, 1.5, 4 days. Causing seasons, minus 1.5, 4 days extra day added, and every 4 years we have leap year. In winter at the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north, 22nd at December, the sunrise never rises, and North Pole 90 degree north has half year will have darkness. In summer at the Arctic Circle, the sun never sets at midsummer, 21st June, and continuous light 24 hours. So Arctic Circle, popularly known as Land of Midnight Sun. Land of Midnight Sun, North Pole has daylight for 24 hours. The sun vertically overheaded at equator on 2 days, 21st March and 21st September, terms as equinoxes. Okay, and you can say equal nights. 21st June, it is summer solstice, and 22nd December, it is called as winter solstice. The period of dawn or twilight, the Earth receives diffused or reflected light from the sun. Okay, then imaginary lines: east to west parallel to equator, that is called latitude, and north to south through the poles, that is called longitude. So something about latitudes: equator lies midway between the poles, represent 0 degree centigrade, and not centigrade. North pole and south pole, 90 degree north and 90 degree south respectively. Lines drawn at intervals of 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So important lines: equator is very important, which is mid in that Earth, which has 0 degree. Then Tropic of Cancer, 23 degree degree north, and then Tropic of Capricorn, which is 23 half degree south. Then Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north. Then Antarctic Circle, 66.5 degree south. Then latitude after longitude. The longitude is having very prime meridian and meridians. So angular distance, semicircles collect called as meridians. Prime meridian is 0 degree, passes through the Royal Astronomical Observatory at Greenwich near London, and eastward and westward up to 180 degree converge at poles. Enclose a narrow space there, longest at equator, and at poles 0 mile. Okay, so Earth makes one complete revolution of 360 degree in 1 day or 24 hours. It passes through 15 degree in 1 hour or 1 degree in 4 minutes. The Earth rotates from west to east, so every 15 degree we go eastward, local time in advance by 1 hour. If we go westward, local time is retarded by 1 hour. So east gain added and west lose subtract, e.g. and WLS. The Indian government has accepted the meridian of 82.5 degree east for the standard time, which is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich medium time. International date line, where the date changes by exactly 1 day when it is crossed. East to west loses a day, and west to east gains a day. So Earth rotates 360 degree south in 24 hours. So 360 degree oblique, or you can say divide by 24, is equal to 15 degree. So 15 degree longitude is equal to 1 hour. Now the next topic is related to Earth's interior. So Earth's interior is divided in three parts: Earth crust, then mantle, then core. So Earth crust is having you can say lithosphere or land, which is made by Seol granite rocks, and then it is also having oceans or hydrosphere also, basaltic rocks. Sima is also there in the upper mantle level. Silicon, iron, and magnesium. These three are there. Then mantle is also called hesosphere. Okay, then core is there, which is barysphere is there. You can say barysphere is it, and it has Nife. So nickel plus ferrous, it means iron. Then rocks are having three kinds: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Igneous lava is solidified, then it is made molten rock, magma, that is called igneous rocks. When crystalline is in structure, it has two parts: plutonic rock and volcanic rock. Plutonic rock has some depth in the earth crust, and volcanic rock poured out of the volcanoes of lava. So plutonic rock, we are having examples like granite, diorite, and gabbro, and volcanic rock we are having the example of basalt. Then sedimentary rocks, what are the specification of sedimentary? That is, has layer formation, stratified rocks, non-crystalline, often contain fossils, and it has three parts: mechanically formed sedimentary rock, organically formed, and chemically formed. So mechanically formed, accumulation of materials which are centered together. Then clay, shale, or mudstone, sand, and gravel is there, that is conglomerate. Okay, organically formed, remains of living organisms such as shellfish or corals. Limestone and chalks are also there. An example: peat, lignitite, or coal, that is called as carbonaceous. So in organically formed, you can say carbonaceous rocks are there. Now the term of chemically formed. Chemically formed is precipitated chemically. Gypsum or calcium sulfate are the example, or potash and nitrous is also there. The organic or mountain building movement. So here three movements were there: Caledonian fold, Hurricane fold, and Alpine fold. So Caledonian fold is somehow 600 to 3500 million years ago. Mountains of Scandinavia, Scotland, and North America are the examples. Then Hurricane fold are 250 million years ago. Ural Mountains, the Peninsula, then Valles Highlands in Britain, Harz Mountains in Germany, the Appalachians in America, and high plateaus and Serbia and China. Then Alpine folds, that is 30 million years ago. It means these are young mountains, and so these are, you are having examples. These are also fold mountains: Alps, Himalayas, Andes, and Rockies. So types of Himalayas are four: fold mountains, block mountains, volcanic mountains, and residual mountains. Fold mountains, when stresses are set up in Earth's crust, produce wrinkling or folding along the lines of weakness. Himalayas, Rockies, Andes, and Alps are examples. Due to convergent boundaries of both ocean and continents, Rockies and Andes are formed, and continents to continents, Himalayas and Alps are formed. Youngest and true mountains, these you can call an extensive chain, great heights. Okay, these are the characteristics of these fold mountains. Now block mountains, faulting takes place in there. Then Hanskrug mountain, the Vosges, the Black Forest of the Rhineland, these are the examples. And Black Horse, it is up one, and then the Garben, which is called as Rift Valley. Then volcanic mountain, from the material ejected from fissures in the earth's crust. Mountains of accumulation, so these are, you are having example: Mount Fuji of Japan, Mount Mayon of Philippines, Mount Merapi of Sumatra, Mount Agong of Bali, and Mount Cotopaxi of Ecuador. Then residual mountains, evolved by denudation, empty, dissected plateaus, highlands of Scotland, and Scandinavia, and Deccan Plateau of India. Okay, so these are the examples of residual mountains. So you can say Deccan Plateau is example of residual mountains. Now type of plateaus. So what are the types? Tectonics and volcanic and dissected. Tectonics formed by earth movements. Deccan Plateau, Mesta of Central Iberia, and Harz of Germany. These are the examples of tectonic plateaus. Then volcanic plateaus formed by molten lava or basaltic lava. These are Columbia's Snape plateaus and Thrym plateaus of island, northern Ireland. Then dissected through the continental process of weathering or erosion. So Scottish Highlands, Southwest USA. These are, you are having example. Now the next is related to volcanism, and now we will move forward Leong's chapter 3 and 4. So volcanism and earthquakes is the chapter name of 3. So here some features are there which are you can say intrusive volcanic landforms. So some terms are related to, so you just learn it, try to learn it and accept it. Okay, so igneous intrusions are the various types of lids. Some lids are there: laccolith, which is dome shape igneous mound, okay, dome shaped, so it is laccolith, dome shaped. Then lopolith is saucer shaped mound. Lopolith related to saucer shaped, okay. Then Fuecolith is related to lens shaped mass of igneous rocks. Antisaline and cyclosaline, okay. So antisaline, you can say the upper part, and the cyclosaline is the downer part, okay. Then batholith, a huge mass of igneous rock, usually granites, okay. So batholith is you can say formed with the granite and is backbone of fold mountains. So then two types of lavas are there: basic lavas and acid lavas. So basic lavas is hottest, highly fluid, dark colored like basalt, poor in silica, and flow quietly. Then acid lavas, these are highly viscous, light colored, low densities, they are high percent of silica and may explode, okay. Volcanoes, you can say three types of active, dormant, and extinct. So active frequently erupt, dormant possible eruption in future, and extinct, you can say not erupted at all in features, okay, but has sign of volcanoes. Then disastrous eruption: Mount Vesuvius and Mount Krakatau and Mount Pelée. So Mount Vesuvius located in near Bay of Naples, and Mount Krakatau located in Sunda Straits midway between Java and Sumatra. In 1883 it erupted. Then Mount Pelée of West Indies, 1902 it was erupted. The distribution of volcanoes closely related to the region that have been closely faulted or folded. Circum-Pacific region, Pacific rings of fire. 2/3 of volcanoes, world's volcanoes located there. Then volcanic ones: shield dome volcanoes, cinder dome type of crater are there, and then composite. So shield dome, you can say highly fluid lava, silently flow, and gentle slope, small volcanoes. These are like examples, say volcanoes of Hawaii. Then ocean and continents when they collide, then there is cinder cones are there, less fluid and highly viscous. Then violent eruptions are there, steep slope are there, and small volcanoes. These are, you can say, example of Mount Pericuten of Mexico. Then fluid plus composite type of volcanoes. These are you can say fluid plus viscous, multiple and violent eruption. Highest volcanoes, large volcanoes are there. These are Mount Stromboli, Fuji, Mount Fuji, and Mount Vesuvius. Then you are having Earth's interior. Somehow it is the temperature depreciation, okay. So ocean in which is formed, which has basalt, okay, down of ocean, and in the deep ocean you are having basalt, and continents you can find it that granite and andesite. Then in lithosphere the pressure increased, and then float over asthenosphere. So lithosphere float over asthenosphere, and lithosphere not continuous, broken, known as plates. Okay, then asthenosphere, you can say unique mechanical rigidity, semi-molten and plastic state. Then mental and interior mental, you can say Olivian in this state. And then core, it is very inside core, the inner one solid one, and the outer core is liquid one. So there Nife and silica were there, and very interior you can found out Nife. So this is, you can find classify the Earth's interior composition of Earth's interior as a whole. Iron is highest and aluminum is lowest, and Earth has a crust only. Oxygen is highest and potassium is lowest one. Now we will move forward to chapter number 4, which is related to weathering and mass movement in groundwater. So the process of wearing away the earth causes a general lowering and traveling act out of the surface. It is known as denutation, and denutation having 4 phases: weathering first, then second one erosion, then third one transportation, and the fourth one is deposition. So granite is made of 3 main minerals: quartz, feldspar, and mica. This is you can say note and down. Okay, granite makes 3 main minerals from feldspar, mica, and quartz. Then when the surface layers of rounded boulders gradually split off, the process is called onion peeling, because the various layers looks like layers of an onion peeled off one after another. The technical term of this process is called as exfoliation. Then landslides, when a large mass of soil or rock falls suddenly, occur on steep slopes such as in mountains areas, on cliffs, causes steep slopes in is undercut by a river or sea so that it falls by gravity. Earthquake or volcanic disturbance were there, it might be the cause of this, and lubricating action of rainwater, and by clearing natural vegetation for agriculture or housing. This you can say human activity. Now in chapter 5th is related with landforms made by running water. So this is somehow drainage pattern, you can have a discussion. So it is having a upper course, middle course, and lower course. Upper course you can has the source of river. In middle course you are maybe gets the meander type of form. Okay, and then in the lower course you are having delta and plus oxbow lakes, you can say inert short lake, or you can say a dead lake. Okay, then drainage pattern, 4 types of drainage pattern discussed in Leong: the dendritic pattern, trellis pattern, rectangular pattern, and radical drainage. And dendritic pattern is somehow you can say flows slope, and tributary and mainstream is there, and tributaries join from the cuts, and it somehow makes the figure of tree branches structure. Then trellis pattern, that is ridges of resistant rocks, 90-degree hard and semi-parallel soft rocks were there, and it is parallelly arranged. Then rectangular drainage, it is somehow strongly joined rocks were there, and radial drainage somehow move from the center. So with the central upliftment is there, and the rivers move from there. Then now we are having the courses of some details of the courses. Upper course you are having when a sea and a continent join, so some portions are called as, or you can say the rivers portion are divided in upper course, middle course, or lower course. In another way you can say mountain course or valley course and plain course. So mountain course is upper course, so which is having gorges, rapids, waterfalls, river capture, and predominantly erosion with the gorges and vertically corrosion. Okay, then some deposition it might be there, then it will move forward in valley course, then which is called as middle course, interlocking spurs, meander, river cliffs. This is the transportation period. Okay, the transportation. And then deposition is there, which is done in lower course, and you can say plain course, and which has the flood plains, oxbow lakes, deltas were there, and aluminum deposition is there. And then after finally the river mates to sea. Indus Gorge in Kashmir. Okay, then Browse Canyon, Utah in USA. Niagara Falls is situated in USA. Then Kautur Falls in Guyana. Victoria Falls in River Zabanzi. And the Mississippi has a bird foot type of delta. Okay, the Nile, the Ganges, Mekong have fan-shaped arcuate deltas. Fan-shaped arcuate deltas are there in Nile, Ganges, and Mekong. Then Amazon, Ob, and Vistula has Astian deltas. Then coast-spit deltas has tooth-like projections. That is, example, you are having Ebro of Spain. Then arid and desert landforms. So arid and desert landforms, you can have some 1/5 of the world's land. 1/5 of the world's land is made of desert. Okay, and desert landforms, you can having all the deserts are confined with the 15 degree to 30 degree parallels of latitude, north and south of the equator. They lie in the trade wind belt on the western part of the continents, where trade winds are offshore. They are bathed by cold currents, which produce a dust setting effect, so that moisture is not easily condensed into precipitation. Dryness and aridity is the keynote. Okay, so Rocky Desert or Hamada, the Sahara Desert, and Hamada el Humera in Libya. Okay, in Libya and Egypt, a stony desert called as Serir, Serir, and in Africa it is called as Reg, Reg. Then Urg or sandy desert in Turkestan, sandy desert are called as Qom, Koum, Qom. Then Badlands, the South Dakota of USA, painted desert of Arizona. Dunes, these are in fact hills of sand formed by the accumulation of sand and shaped by the movement of winds. Bratchans or sefis. So bratchans are, these are crescenting or moon shaped dunes, live dunes. Okay, the windward side in convex and gently sloping, while the leeward side being sheltered in concave and steep. Then sheaves are you can say Arabic word means sword, a long narrow ridge of sand found in Sahara Desert, Thar Desert, and Western Australian Desert. So Thar Desert is also having seifs, Seifs. Okay, the fine dust down beyond the desert limits is deposited on neighboring lands as loess, Loess. So this is, you can say, it's a structure in desertic situations. And yellowish wind born dust from the Gobi Desert is called as Hangwatu, the yellow earth. Okay, so this is, somehow we have completed 7 chapters. Okay, so the chapters are 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we will move forward with Leong's next chapter, chapter number 8, which is related to limestone and chalk. Limestone and chalk are a sedimentary rock of organic origin derived from the accumulation of corals and shells in the sea. In its pure state, limestone is made up of calcium carbonate, but where magnesium is also present, it is termed as dolomite. Okay, so when in calcium carbonate magnesium is also present, that it is called as dolomite. Okay, a large stretch of limestone is called as karst region. In general, there is absence of surface drainage, as most of the surface water has gone underground. In limestone pavement, the large joints are called grikes, and the isolated rectangular blocks are termed as clints, Clints. Okay, then karst regions are often barren. Okay, and barren and at best carry a thin layer of soil. The most spectacular underground features that adorn the limestone caves are stalactite, stalagmites, and pillars. Human activities in karst region, the only mineral of importance is lead, which occurs in veins in association with limestone. So besides this, good quality limestones are often used as building materials or quarried for the cement industry. So lead and cement mainly extracted from limestone, limestone and chalk region. Now chapter number 9, which is related to lakes. Okay, so because of the intense evaporation, these lakes are saline. Reason of salinity. Okay, so some what are the reasons of salinity in some lakes? So that is because of intense evaporation. For example, that Dead Sea has a salinity salt content of 250 parts per thousand. And the Great Salt Lake of Utah, USA, has a salinity of 220 parts per thousand. But the Black Sea, into which drain many large river, has a salinity of less than 17 parts per thousand. Okay, so play as a salt lakes are the common features of desert. Okay, so mainly salt lakes found in deserts, like we have Sambal Lake in Rajasthan area. Okay, lakes formed by some reasons were there: tectonic lake, or rift valley lake, or because of glaciation, or rock hollow lake, or crater lake, or because of deposition. So tectonic lakes were found, like you are having examples of Lake Titicaca, okay, which is highest one, and Caspian Sea, which is largest one. So Caspian Sea is the largest lake of world, and highest lake is Titicaca. Then Rift Valley Lake, you are having examples of Lake Tanzania, which is deepest lake, and Dead Sea, which is lowest lake. Okay, then because of glaciation, armchair shaped creeks or corries formed there, and which occupy glacial through are long and deep, and are termed as Ribble Lake. So Lake Ullswater, this is the name of a lake which is called as Ribble Lake, or you can say because of glaciation it was formed. Rock Hollow Lake formed by ice sourcing. Example, Finland, the lands of lakes, which is 35,000 glacial lake were there in Finland. Then Carter Lake, which is due to volcanic activity. This is you're having examples of Oregon in USA, Lake Toba in Sumatra. So two lakes were there, Oregon and Toba. Oregon in USA and Toba in Sumatra. Then because of deposition, Oxbow lakes were formed. Flat plains of lower Mississippi, USA, and Rio Grande of Mexico. These are because of deposition it was formed. Then the Great Lakes, St. Lawrence. Where is the Great Lakes, which is situated in St. Lawrence? We are having a shortcut form as Holmes. H for Huron, O for Ontario, M for Michigan, E for Erie, and S for Superior. So lakes and men, what are the advantages of lakes and men? So lakes are sources of minerals, means of communication, you can say coal, machinery, grains and timber, etc. We can export or import with the help of lakes. Economic and industrial developments, water storage, and artificial reserves, you can say reservoirs like Hoover Dam on river Colorado, Bhakra and Nangal Dam in the Satluj in India. Sources of food, fishing and rock salt, and tourist attraction also there. Then regulating river flows, and hydroelectric power generation is also done by lakes. Then vital sources of domestic water supply, lakes are, okay, Britain Lake Thurlemer supplies water to Manchester. Lake Katrina to Glasgow. Lake Wyrmey in Wales to Liverpool. The Okhla river reservoir supplies Delhi, and the Vallarna Vihar and Tulsi Lake supplies to Bombay. Okay. Then chapter 10 is related to coastal landforms. Tides affect marine erosion mainly. Currents helps to move eroded debris and deposits it as silts, sands and gravel along the coasts. The most powerful agents of marine erosion are waves. So types of coasts, two types of coasts are there: coastline of submergence and coastlines of emergence. So coastlines of submergence, so you can say because of sinking of land or rise of the sea, sinking of the land and rise of the sea. So at approx 4 forms were there: Ria coasts, fjord coasts, Dalmatian coasts, and Asturian coasts. So Ria coasts, long, narrow, branching inlets separated by narrow headlands. Then fjord coasts, submerged, U-shaped glacial thoughts was threshold. Okay. Then Dalmatian coasts are longitudinal coasts where mountains run parallel. Okay, so mention coasts mountains and that run parallel. Okay, Asturian coasts in submerged lowlands, the mouth of the rivers are drawn so that funnel shaped estuaries are formed. Okay, then as the coastlines of emergence, two types of there. Then uplifted lowland coast and emergent upland coast. So uplifted lowland coast, we are having gently sloping coastal lowlands, lagoons, salt marshes, sorry, not. So the examples are beaches and marine dunes, and these are formed. Okay, then in emergent upland coast, we are having examples of lagoons, salt marshes, and mud flats. Because of earth movement may thrust up coastal plateaus so that the whole region is raised. A raised beach is the most prominent. Okay, so this one is about coastlines. Now, chapter 11 is related to island and coral reefs. So, islands, a piece of land surrounded on all sides of water, that is called as island. Continental island and oceanic island. Continental island we can describe in three parts: individual islands, archipelagos, and archipelagos, or festoons or island arcs. So individual islands just outside of the continent has features of mainland, and Newfoundlands and Madagascar are the examples. Archipelagos, archipelagos. Okay, I can't know the proper pronunciation, but this is archipelago. Okay, so groups of islands varying the size and shapes. We are having examples of British Isles and Baltic Isles of Mediterranean. Or festoons or island arcs form an archipelago in a shape of loop around the edge of mainland. The East Indies, the Cooley Island, then Ryukyu Island, then Oceanic Island, located in the midst of ocean. Okay, so then unrelated to the mainland continents, different flora and fauna were there. Volcano Island, or it might be a coral island. So Volcano Island, what? The topmost point of the cones of volcanoes are visible. So Mauna Hua in Hawaii in Pacific Ocean, and Mauritius and Reunion are the example of volcanic island. Then example of coral islands emerged just above the water surface: Marshall Islands, Gilbert Island, Bermuda, Laccadive, and Maldives, and Maldives of Indian Ocean. Okay, coral reefs. Coral polyps are very tiny creatures, have ability to secrete calcium carbonate, grow just below the water level. Each polyp resides in the tiny cup of coral and helps to form coral reefs. When it die, their limey skeletons are cemented into coralline limestones. Survival conditions of coral reefs: water temperature must not fall below 68°F or 20°C. So that's why their distribution up to tropical and subtropical zones. They'll not flourish where there are cold currents absent on western coasts of islands. Depth of water should not exceed 30 fathoms or 180 feet, because sunlight will not appear beyond this. Then how photosynthesis takes place? Water should be saltous or free from sediments. Types of coral reef: fringing reef, barrier reef, and atolls. Fringing reef is a coralline platform laying close to the shore, and depth to it might be 100 feet. Barrier reef separated from coast by a much wider and deeper channel or lagoon. Barrier reef of coast of Queensland, Australia, and atolls circular in shape, enclosing a shallow lodger without any land in. Now here I am going to start chapter number 12 of G.C Leong. The chapter name is The Oceans. 70% of Earth, the first successful worldwide deep sea expedition, Challenger, 1873 to 1876 by British. International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. This is a council which has a headquarters in Copenhagen. The relief of the ocean, isobath, are the contours marking depth below sea level. Then some features were there: continental shelf, continental edge, continental slope, ocean deep, oasis, minor trench, or submarine ridge. Okay, so these are the oceanic features. A continental shelf we are talking about, approx 100 fathom or 600 feet isobath. Okay, enables sunlight to penetrate. So plankton were there, richest fishing ground, and greatest seaport. So which are these? This is continental shelf. Then continental slope, you can say mud were there. Then ocean deep or oozes made from the shelly and skeleton remains of marine organism. Then because of volcanic dust, red clay may deposit there. Minor trench of continents found close to the continents, maybe 5,000 fathoms to 30,000 fathoms. Marina Trench near Guam Island, 36,000 feet deep. Then Mirado Deep, then Tonga Trench, then Japanese Trench. Highly speak on land, Mount Everest is only 29,028 feet. So this Marina Trench has 36,000 feet. So just imagine how it is deep. Oceans have large amount of dissolved minerals. Sodium chloride constitutes more than 77%. Then maybe magnesium, calcium and potassium. Degree of concentration salt solutions expressed as salinity. The degree of saltness and water variations of salinity shows by isohalines. Okay, then average salinity in an ocean is 35.2%, about 35 parts of salt in 1000 parts of water. Lower salinity in a Baltic Sea, which has 7%. Higher the Red Sea, 39%. Very high like Caspian Sea, 180%. And the Dead Sea is having like deadly salinity, that is 250%. And a salt lake like one in Asia Minor with a 330% salinity. Okay, so it's really very saline water it has. Because of salinity, it is impossible to sink in Lake One or Dead Sea. Because of the rate of evaporation, high temperature, the causes of variation in the salinity in oceans, some are because of the rate of evaporation, the amount of fresh water added by the precipitation, streams or iceberg, the degree of water mixing by currents. Water warms up and cools down much more slowly than the land. That is very important. Water warms very fast but cools down much more slowly. It means lands cool down very fast instead of water. The reduction of temperature with latitude is, however, never constant because of the interference of by warm and cold currents, winds, air masses, and all. The highest temperature found in close seas in tropics, Red Sea, 85 degree to 100 degree Fahrenheit. Movements of ocean currents from the equatorial region to polewards, warm current, and from if it is flow from polar region to equator wards, this is called as cold currents. Why should they follow such a pattern? Because the planetary wind, trade winds which move equatorial water polewards and westward and warm the eastern coast of continents, westerlies in temperate latitude less reliable than trade winds. Monsoon winds come from northeast in winter and southwest in summer. Then temperature, as the warm water is lighter and rises and cold water is denser and sinks. Salinity, water of high salinity are denser than water of low salinity. The earth's rotation, it reflects freely moving objects including ocean currents to the right to the night. Okay, in northern hemisphere clockwise direction, example the circulation of the Gulf Stream drift the Canaries current. In southern hemisphere it is an anti-clockwise, example Brazilian current and west wind drift. Land obstructs and diverts a current. In westerlies, there are strong narrow bands of high speed winds. Jet streams speed is somehow 300 km per hour. So the circulation of currents, or you can say warm current, and the distribution is some like I'm going to tell. So the circulation of these currents, so I'm going to explain it ocean wise. So very first, Atlantic Ocean, the steady trained winds constantly drift two streams of water from east to west. Gulf Stream, cool Canarese current. So 2 warm currents are there and 3 cold currents were there. Gulf Stream and Brazilian current. These two are warm current, and Canaries current, Labrador current, Banigular current. These are cold currents of Atlantic Ocean. Now is the turn of Pacific Ocean. So 2 warm currents and 2 cold currents. Kuroshio or Japan current is warm current, and East Australian current is also a warm current. Then cold current, Californian current and Peruvian current, these two are cold current. Now Indian Ocean currents, Mozambique current and Eastern Australian current, and then West Australian current. These are Indian Ocean's currents. Okay. Cyclone means intense lower pressure system. Air converges towards the center. In northern hemisphere can converge anti-clockwise. Closed isobars were there. Cold air mass pushed to warm air mass. Force upliftment of warm air mass at the cold front is equal to lower pressure. And then after the cyclone made off. Chapter 13 belongs to weather. When we speak of climate, we mean the average average atmosphere and conditions of an area over a considerable time, minimum period of 35 years. Elements of climate, rainfall, temperature, humidity, air pressure, wind, clouds and sunshine. So rainfall very first, including other forms of precipitation, snow, sleet and hail, is always measured by a metal instrument called rain gauge. For all practical purposes, 10 to 12 inch of snow may be considered as equivalent to 1 inch of. Chapter number 13 of G.C Leong. When we speak of climate, we mean the average atmosphere conditions of an area over a considerable time, minimum period of 35 years. Elements of climate, you can add rainfall, temperature, humidity, air pressure, winds, clouds and sunshine. Rainfall, including other forms of precipitation, snow, sleet and hail, is always measured by a metal instrument called a rain gauge. For all practical purposes, 10 to 12 inches of snow may be considered as equivalent of 1 inch of rain. Rainfall are joined by a line called as an isoheight. Air is made up of a number of mixed gases and has weight. It therefore exerts a pressure. The instrument of measuring pressure, barometer, invented by Galileo and his assistant Torricelli in 1643. Mercury is the heaviest liquid known. Pressure measured by millibar or MB, unit adopted by meteorological stations in 1914. Pressure lines joins by the lines called isobars. Outdoor measurement by Android barometer. In aeroplanes, a modified type of Android barometer called an altimeter is used. Temperature measuring instrument is thermometer. In Fahrenheit, the freezing point is 32 degree Fahrenheit and the boiling point is 212 degree Fahrenheit. In centigrade, freezing point is 0 degree centigrade and boiling point is 100 degree centigrade. The difference between the maximum and minimum temperature of a day gives the diurnal range of temperature. The difference between the hottest month and coldest month gives the annual range of temperature. Humidity in general measure of the dampness of the atmosphere expressed in gram per cubic meter. Okay, then warm air can hold more water vapor than cold air. When the relative humidity reaches 100%, the air completely saturated, the air temperature is said to be at dew point. Humidity measured by hygrometer. Okay, hygrometer. The speed of wind, air in motion, is usually measured by an anemometer, ANEMOMETER. For meteorological purposes, the amount of cloud cover in the sky is expressed in lights or octaves. Okay, example 2/8 is quarter covered, 4/8 is half covered, and 8/8 is completely overcast. Haze, mist, and fog. What is the difference between these three? Haze, you can say smoke and dust particles were there. Okay, then mist, condension of water vapor. Fog, due to water conditioning on dust, on smoke. Okay, then haze, regions of low humidity less than 75%. Mist occurs in wet air, and fog in lower strata. It can occur. Okay, now classification of clouds, that's very important. So high clouds, medium clouds, low clouds, and clouds with great vertical extent. So high clouds are mainly cirrus type of clouds. Okay, CI of feathery. Okay, feathery type of clouds from form 20 to 40,000 above ground. So these are in the three types: cirrus, cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus. So cirrus, it looks fibrous, called tails or mass, indicate fair weather. Okay, so cirrus indicate fair weather. Then cirrocumulus, you can say white globular masses forming ripples in, and it is a mackerel sky. Okay, then cirrostratus resembles a thin sheet of white sheet. Okay, thin white sheet. Sky links likes sky looks like milky. Okay, then medium clouds, you can say mainly alto type of clouds, alto or middle height clouds that you can find out in 7 to 20,000 feet. Altocumulus and altostratus, these are two types. So altocumulus, these are woolly bumpy clouds arranged in layer, indicate fine weather. Okay, and altostratus, these are denser grayish clouds with watery look. Okay, then come on the low clouds, these are mainly stratus type of clouds or sheet clouds below 7,000 feet. Okay, so stratocumulus, stratus, and nimbostratus. These are three types of low clouds. So stratocumulus, you can say rough, bumpy clouds. Stratus clouds are very low clouds, are firmly gray and thick, dull weather with light drizzle. Then the nimbostratus, these are dark, dull clouds known as rainy clouds. Okay, rain clouds. So nimbostratus, you can say known as rainy clouds. Then clouds with great vertical extent. In this one, mainly cumulus or heap clouds with no definite height. 2,000 to 30,000 feet it may be covered. The cumulus and cumulonimbus. So cumulus clouds are, you can say, great white globular masses, fair weather cloud. Okay, and cumulonimbus are black and white globular masses. It's cauliflower top spread out like a manvale. Okay, and referred as thunderclouds also. So cumulonimbus are referred as thunderclouds. Now we will move forward to the next chapter. This is related to straight atmosphere. Okay, so or climate, you can say. Chapter 14, climate. So here we can classify atmosphere in four types. Okay, or here only mention three types: troposphere, stratosphere, and ionosphere. Then in troposphere, temperature, when you it covers approximate earth to 6 mile top. Okay, temperature decreases. And tropopause, heights 8 kilometer at poles and 18 kilometer at equator. Okay, in this portion 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 0.03% carbon dioxide. Then after troposphere, very important layer will come, that is the stratosphere. In stratosphere, ozone layer is also placed there. Temperature increases, very cold and cloudless. Okay, 50 miles or even more. Then ionosphere, the temperature decreases because of no GHG gases. Okay, it's also mesosphere, and then mesosphere is also there. Then absence of GHG clouds. Then in mesosphere the temperature decreases. Then last one is ionosphere, that is short wave radio will occur in the ionosphere, important for radio communication. Then you can sun throw three types of light: white light, ultraviolet, and infrared light. Okay, infrared rays. So ultraviolet is harmful for skin, and infrared rays it's used in photography. Okay, now come on. The next one, only that part of the sun's radiation which reaches the earth is called insolation. Then land get heated up more quickly than the water. Because water is transparent, heat is absorbed more slowly, and because it is always in motion. Then temperature influences five things: actual amount of water vapor, evaporation, condensation, relative humidity, then cloud formation and precipitation. Then factors influencing temperature. What are the factors which influence in temperatures? These are latitude, altitude, ocean currents and winds, slope, shelter and other aspects, natural vegetation and soil. So how can these affect temperature? I'm going to describe in very one line format. Latitude, temperature diminishes from equatorial region to pole. Okay, altitude, temperature decreases with increasing height above sea level. Okay, temperature decreases, be careful, not constant, varies from place to place, season to season. Then ocean currents and winds both affect temperature by transporting their heat and coldness into adjacent region. Slope, shelter and aspects, a steep slope experience more rapid change in temperature than gentle one. The natural vegetation and soil, difference in temperature between foster region and open ground. Light soils reflect more heat than darker soil, which are better absorbers. Sands are sensitive to temperature changes. Okay, then comes precipitation. In precipitation, if air sufficiently cold, if air sufficiently cooled below dew point, tiny drops of water vapor will condense around dust particles from form clouds at considerable height. It might be cirrus cumulus or stratus clouds. If condensation occurs at ground level, formed haze, mist and fog. Other precipitation forms are snow, hail, sleet and rain. So snow below freezing point, hail, ice pellets were there, and rain 0 0.2 um, droplets. Okay, so I can't read this one. Now come on the rainfall. Rainfall is having three types of rainfall. Types of conventional type, orographic type of rainfall or relief rainfall. Then the third one, cyclonic or frontal rainfall. So very first, conventional rainfall, intentionally heated regions during day in summer. Cumulus clouds were formed, often accompanied with thunder and lightning and caused by convection currents. Okay, then orographic or relief rain. A moist air is forced to acid mountain barrier. Air compelled to rise. There may be by cooled by expansion in altitudes. Then in cyclonic or in frontal rainfall, independent of relief or convection, purely associated with cyclonic activity, whether in temperate regions or tropical regions. Cyclones, due to convergence or meeting of two different air masses with different temperatures, pressure and planetary winds along the equator and within 5 degree north or south is the equatorial low pressure belt. Intense heating plus expanding air plus ascending convection currents termed as doldrums. Okay, so equatorial low pressure belt is also called as doldrums. Then 30-degree north and south subtropical high belts, air comparatively dry, and winds are calm and light. Region of wind convergence and anticyclones refers as horse latitude. So this one, subtropical high belts called as horse latitude, and equatorial low pressure belt is called doldrums. Okay, so these two you think remember. You should remember. 60-degree north and south are two temperature low pressure belts which are also zone of convergence with cyclonic activity. 90-degree north and south temperature permanently low, polar high pressure belts. Winds tends to blow from the high pressure belts to low pressure belts. So some the diagram is there, which somehow shows that Coriolis force is absent at equator, but it increases towards the poles, and some mentions are there. Then in the north hemisphere, winds are deflected to their right, in the southern hemisphere to their left. This is known as parallel law of deflection. The Coriolis force is absent along the equator but increase progressively towards the poles. Monsoons are caused rapid heating in the hot summer over most parts of India. For example, induces heated air to rise. The southwest monsoon from the surrounding ocean is attracted by the low pressure over the land and blows in bringing torrential rain to the subcontinent. Okay, anticyclone, high pressure in center, and the isobars far apart. Okay, so two types of winds also mentioned here: Fohán winds and Chinook winds. So just try to understand. Fohán winds are experienced in valleys of North Alps, particularly in Switzerland. Okay, and then dry winds, you can say. Then Chinook winds. These are somehow eastern slopes of Rockies in USA and Canada, and in winter it happens. Dry winds experienced on the low and side of leeward sides of mountains when descending air becomes compressed with increased pressure. Easterly. Okay, so easterlies winds are there: polar easterlies, trade winds, and westerlies. So easterlies are two easterlies winds are 90 degree to 60 degree north and south, and the another trade winds is at 0 degree to 30 degree north and south. So it both are flow with the east to west direction, but westerlies is different. It flows west to east direction, and it marks the 30 degree to 60 degree north and south. So be careful. Polar easterlies and trade winds, these are in the direction is east to west, so that's why these are called as easterly, and they covers 0 to 30 degree north and south in trade winds, and polar easterlies 90 degree 60 degree 90 degree to 60 degree north and south. But westerly is different. Westerly flows in 30 degree to 60 degree north and south, and its direction is also changed. It flow with west to east. Okay, then tropical cyclones types: typhoons, hurricanes, and tornado. This is cyclonic activity, low pressure systems. Okay, typhoons are normally occurs in 6 degree to 20 degree north and south, velocity of 100 mile per hour, and hurricanes, calm rainless centers. Okay, pressure is lowest around the eye, 75 mile per hour. Dense dark clouds were there. Tornado, small but very violent, 500 miles per hour, typical in USA and Mississippi basin. Then some zones were very definite zones were decided, and it's very nice diagram is there. 0 degree, it means equatorial portion, equatorial rainforest were situated, and hot wet equatorial climate were there. In 10 degree north, okay, 10 degree north, or 10 to 30 degree north, you can get a hot desert. Okay, desert vegetation, Sudan type of climate like savanna, tropical grassland, and monsoonal type of climate, monsoonal forest. Then when you reached in 45 degree north, okay, then warm temperate zone were there. Then there you can cover Mediterranean type, or you can say shrubs were there. Okay, shrub. And then steppe type, steppes and typical grassland were there. Then Chinese type, you can say warm wet forest were there. So this is somehow 45 degree north. Now come on 65 degree north, it's British type, Siberian type, or Laurentian type. So British type deciduous forest, Siberian type evergreen coniferous forest, and Laurentian type mixed forest. Then 90 degree north, you can get Arctic or polar type of vegetation, that is tundra vegetation. Now I'm going to tell you chapter number 15, the hot wet equatorial climate. Okay, so 5 degree and 10 degree north and south of the equator. Okay, its greatest extent is found in the lowlands of Amazon, the Congo, Malaysia, and East Indies. Trade winds gives rise to the modified type of equatorial climate with monsoonal influence. Climate, you can say, uniformity of temperature 80 degrees, sorry, 80 degree Fahrenheit, no winter cloudiness, heavy precipitation, land and sea breezes assist in maintaining a truly equable climate. Direct sunlight passes there, heat surplus, low pressure condition every day, hot wet climate, dense forest, high biodiversity. Then precipitation heavy between 60 to 100 inches. Okay, no month without rain. Maximum rainfall in April, October, which occurs shortly after the equinoxes. Conventional rainfall, orographic and relief rainfall, relative humidity. Tropical rainforest, Amazon lowlands, the forest is so dense and so complete in its vegetational extravagance that a special term selvos season here is all the year. Okay, evergreen trees, palm trees, lianas, epiphytic and parasitic plants, ferns, orchids, and lolongs for their thick canopy. All plants struggle upwards for sunlight, resulting in a peculiar layer arrangement. Virgin tropical rainforests have been cleared either for lumbering or shifting cultivation. Wild rubber pygmies gather nuts, or orang asli make all sorts of cane products. Yams, maize, bananas, and groundnuts were there. The most outstanding is natural rubber called Levena brasiliensis. So natural rubber is very special in this type of climate. The hot wet equatorial climate, excessive heat and high humidity. Because of this, malaria and yellow fever also there in the region. Rapid plant growth also encourages the spread of insects and pests, so as germs and bacteria are easily transmitted through moist air. So lalang or tall grass is also called as lalang here. Okay, not good for lumbering. Hardwood, high density, then loading and unloading very difficult. So that's why these are the features of this the hot wet equatorial type. Now the chapter number 16 covers the tropical monsoon and tropical marine climates. So tropical monsoon, you can say onshore wet monsoons in the summer, offshore dry monsoons in the winter. Then India subcontinent, Burma, Thailand, or Laos, Cambodia, parts of Vietnam, and South China, and northern Australia. Tropical marine climate is experienced in Central America, West Indies, northeastern Australia, the Philippines, part of East Africa, Madagascar, the Guiana coast, and eastern Brazil. Okay, so seasons, the cool dry seasons October to February, the hot dry season March to mid June, the rainy season mid June to September. The tropical marine climate along the eastern coast of tropical lands receiving steady rainfall from the trade winds all the time. No month without rainfall, prone to the tropical cyclones, hurricanes, or typhoons. Tropical monsoon forest, because of dry period, trees are normally deciduous, teak, bamboo, and thickets, thorny scrublands or savanna. Tropical developments, Indian subcontinent, China, Southeast Asia, Eastern Brazil, and West Indies. Wet paddy cultivation, rice staple crop. Okay, maize, millets, sorghum, wheat, gram, and beans, cane sugar, jute, cotton, cash crops were also maintained there. Coffee and tea, plantation crops, lumbering, teak of Burma. Shifting cultivation with hoes and sticks manual. Okay, tropical soils are latosolic. Okay, latosolic. Farming is early entirely for substance. Everything is consumed by the farmer's family. It is not traded or sold. Local names of this shifting cultivation is are Ladang in Malaysia, Thangwea in Burma, Tamarai in Thailand, Kanjin in the Philippines, Humaha in Java, Chena in Sri Lanka, and Milpa in Africa and Central America. Then chapter number 17 covers the savanna and Sudan type of climate, which you can say parkland topography or big game country, tropical grassland. Okay, so you can say these type of names located between rainforest and not desert. So transitional type of climate found between the equatorial forest and trade wind hot desert, eastern and southern Africa. In the South America there are two distinct regions of savanna, north and south of equator, namely the Ilons, Ilanos of the Orinoco Basin and Campos composed of Brazilian highlands. Hot rainy season and cold dry season. Okay, trade winds were there. Wind blow offshore from the Sahara Desert and reach the Guiana coast as a dry dust laden winds called locally the Hamatan, meaning the doctor. Okay, Hamatan meaning the doctor. Then vegetation, tall grass and short trees, term parkland and bushveld describe the landscape better. Trees are deciduous, other have broad trunks with water storing devices to survive through the prolonged although such as boabs and bottle trees, you can call it. Then trees hard and thorny may exude gum like or gum arpic type of material. Many trees like umbrella shaped savanna land grass is tall, like 6 to 12 feet grass. Elephant grass is also there, which is you can say 15 feet tall or high. As the rainfall diminishes towards the desert, the savanna merges into thorny scrub. In Australia, these scrubland represented by number of species like Malay, Mulga, spinifax grass and other bushes. Savanna in Africa, home of wild animals called big game country because the killing of animals for the skins, horns, tusks, bones or hair, lab specimens, etc. From all over the world. Grass-eating animals like giraffe, zebra, elephant and occupy and carnivorous animals like panthers, jaguars, leopard and tiger. Reptiles and mammals were also there. Many national parks are also are there, best known for tourism. Then tribes like Maasai of East Africa, Hausa of northern Nigeria, and Kikuyu of Kenya. So Maasai of East Africa, Zebu cattle, they are having an cattle pastorals, they are called as Maasai. So moderate rainfall, clear dry wet season, tall grass like elephant grass, scanty large trees, acacia trees with broad trunks, baobab trees and bottle trees to store water. Here I'm going to start chapter number 18, which is about the hot desert and middle latitude desert climates. So what is special about? This is scanty rainfall, hot temperate, due to offshore trade winds. Because of trade winds it is there. Major hot deserts are located on western coast of the continents between latitudes 15 degree and 30 degree north and south. Peruvian or Atacama Desert is driest desert of all. No cold season, summer temperature 86 degree Fahrenheit. Highest temperature record is 136 degree Fahrenheit on 13 September 1922 at Al Azizia in Sahara. Aridity in ketone, uh, rainfall less than 10 inches below the Tropic of Cancer. Temperate desert, rainless due to interior location. Mid latitude deserts. What are the names? Which are the main mid latitudes desert? Because of the interior location, these are the names of Gobi Desert, Turkestan Desert, and Patagonian Desert. Okay. Then hot deserts are like Sahara Desert, West Australian Desert, Atacama Desert, Kalahari Desert, and Mojave Desert. So, because of prevailing trade winds, which blow towards east to west, the deserts form, and because of cold currents, they create a desiccating effect. It does not allow the moisture to condense from clouds and form clouds. As a result, scanty rainfall on western margin of the continents. Vegetation, shrubs and herbs, dormant vegetation, xerophatic or drought type of condition, resistant scrubs, cactus, thorns, trees are rare, and date palms are there. Salinity of soil, salt accumulation, land pans, deficient in humus. Leaves are waxy and leathery, needle shape, reduced transpiration. Cactus thick succulent stems. Seeds have thick and rough skin. Economy in region: oases, small water bodies in between deserts, settlement around basins. Around oases. Best nomadic herdmen were there. Bedouin, Bedouin, Bedouin of Arabs ride horse ride and live in tents. Bushmen of Kalahari, nomadic hunters and food gatherers. Groups of Bushmen are called as Shams, Sherms, and Tuaregs in Sahara. Camel rider dwell in grass and zebra. Bindibu of Australia, lean, dark, and healthy, and mining gold, Great Australia Desert, and diamond and copper, Kalahari Desert. Desiccating effect of cold oceanic current on western coast of that is the reason. Vegetation xerophytic. Okay, so these are tigers of Sahara, Bindubins of Arabia, Hottentots of Kalahari. So this is all about chapter number 18. Subtropical high pressure belt. Because of this tropical desert form, Mojave means a desert, and offshore trade winds, by the time rain bearing wind reach from east to west, they become very dry, so no rain is in the western coast of northern and southern hemisphere. This is because desert form. Now it's very important to know about the chapter number 19. Now here I'm going to start chapter number 19 of G.C Leong, which is about the warm temperate western margin, or you can say Mediterranean type of climate. Okay, so what are the main characteristics? You can have between 30 degree to 45 degree north and south of the equator. Cause of shifting of the wind wells. Greatest extent of this type of winter rain climate. Okay, dry warm summer with offshore trades. Then region of Mediterranean climate are great extent towards Mediterranean Sea, Chile, California, southwest tip of Africa, and southern Australia are the regions where we get these type of climate. Then trade winds are offshore. It means no rain, air is dry, intense heat, and RH is very slow, and interior prolonged drought, night rapid radiation, and forests are rare. Good horticulture grounds these are, and especially grapes and oranges. Okay, Wine production, it's that is the main characteristics of these type of climate. Then rainfall in winter with onshore westerlies, rainfall in winter when westerlies shift equatorward. Okay, northern hemisphere onshore westerlies bring cyclonic rain. Mountains act as barrier to onshore westerlies. Iberia, Mesta, Syria, particle coast is wetter than eastern Spain. Rain starts in September, peak in October, can cause floods. Lipson, 1967. Local winds, hot winds, Sirocco. Sirocco is the name of the hot, dry, dusty wind, okay, which blows in from Sahara, most frequently in the spring, accompanied by depression. Then others are Chile, Tunisia, Gibli, Libya, Leveche, Spain, Khamsin, Egypt and Malta, Garabi, Adriatic and Aegean Sea, cause fog and rain, blood rain, you can say red dust. Trees without shade, stunted, massive trunks, widespread roots because of winter rain. Cold winds from north, Mistral. Mistral is a cold wind, okay. Down to Rhone Valley, then Bora. Wind is long Adriatic coast due to pressure difference between Mediterranean climate and Europe region. Then natural vegetation, trees with small broad leaves, absence of shade, growth slow in cooler Mediterranean evergreen open woodland, evergreen oak is the name of a tree. Australia eucalyptus especially famous. Coniferous trees like pines, firs, cedar and cypress. Mediterranean bushes like lavender and rosemary. Different names of Mediterranean vegetations. So South France called as maquis, Italy is Macida, California is chaparral, and Australia is Malay shrubs. Okay, limestone upland, thin soil, xerophytic ground creeper. Okay, grass, slow growing, wiry and bunchy. Then economic development, orchard farming, orange, lime, lemon, grapefruit with canal irrigation. 70% of oranges export from Mediterranean area. Then major wine production region, 85% of grape for wine, olives, nuts, peach, plum, cherry, wheat, barley and rice also cultivated there. So this is all about chapter number 19, okay, which covers the area of California, USA, Chile, Central Chile, south tip of Africa, South Australia and area around Mediterranean Sea. Now chapter number 20, which covers the temperate continental steppe type of climate. So that's really very important. So interiors of continents are the temperate grasslands. Okay, so in one map is there where in this northern America we have prairies, okay, which is most famous of maize and wheat cultivation. Okay, Great Lakes was also there in very near to prairies. Okay, Rockies range is also there in North America. Now come on in the South America, the area of Argentina and Uruguay, very near to this, and Pampas, name of that grassland. Okay, warm current is also flows there. Then in Central Asia and Europe, some part is there that is called as steppe. And Hungary, the country of Hungary, European country Hungary, the some area covered which is called this type of grassland as pustad. Okay, then in Africa, some part of the mainland of Africa, savanna type of climate is there, a savanna type of grassland, and in the South Africa, it is called as wild. Okay, it called as wild, and then in China and Mongolia side, Manchuria type of grassland, and in Australia, the southern area of Australia has downs. Okay, Then basin of Orange River and River Limpopo. Okay, Weld is in the basin of Orange River and River Limpopo. So these two rivers flows in Africa. Now come on the main characteristics. Cooler and wetter than savanna. Under westerlies, it means no trees are there because these are grasslands. All the grassland border desert. Okay, deserts के पास ही हैं ये सारे grasslands and lie in interior of continents. So interior of the continents, these are not in very coastal type of area. It covers the interior area. Then temperate grasslands lie on the westerly belt away from maritime influence and are treeless. Grass is very nutritious. Okay, that is very important. The grass is not really type of rubbish or but it is really nutritious for animals. Okay, steppes, Black Sea to alt mountains. Okay, broken isolated area of Postage in Hungary and Manchuria plains. Then prairies is near to Rockies and Great Lakes. Pampas is near to Argentina and Uruguay. Veld is near to South Africa and down is near to in Australia. Murray-Darling Basin के पास world's leading wool exporter. Okay, who's Australia? Temperature extremes. Okay, in these area temperature extremes, summers are warm and winters are really cold. Then wheat, two types of wheat are there, winter wheat and spring wheat. Okay, winter wheat is, you can say, hard wheat, which is used in bread, okay, near Great Lakes region. And in spring wheat, so here this is soft wheat, which is used in cakes, pastries and biscuits. So these are the difference between two type of wheats. Okay, southern hemisphere has more rainfall than northern hemisphere. Okay, 10 to 30 inches. Drought is dangerous, highly harmful for sheep rearing industry. Then treeless grass are predominantly, and springtime is good for industry of sheep rearing. Herdsmen who are very busiest one. Summer time heat evaporation, grass turns yellow and brown. Winter harsh and long. And then few trees, willows and poplars and alders were there. Then precipitation as transitional zone, so coniferous appears. Then cattle and sheep are most important animals. Double rows of trees around house to avoid strong winds. Okay, then steppe prairies and pampas. Steppe is wild horse kigris roamed with herds. Okay, these are the kigris is the name of I think some type of tribal people. Then prairies is swift-footed bison. Okay, red Indian most least sparsely populated area in the world. Granary of the world, maize and wheat are produced in prairies area. In pampas, untamed buffaloes, alfalfa grass or lucrine grass leading ranching of world. Okay, nomadic herding, Kyrgyz, Kazakh and Kalmyk. These are the I think names of tribal people. Then travel long distance from grass and water, wool and tent and garment and leathers, boots, sandals and belts and bows and horns and tools, utensils, weapons, exchange of commodities like tea and sugar. Now I'm going to discuss about the warm temperate eastern margin China type climate, which is chapter 21 of G.C Leong. Okay, these type of climate is good for agriculture and variety of crops, densely populated area. Okay, more rainfall than Mediterranean in summer, modified monsoonal climate, temperate monsoon or China type, also known as Gulf climate, seen in southeast USA, New South Wales eucalyptus, Natal cane and sugar, then Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay maize. Then onshore trade winds year around without monsoon, natal type of climate. Climate, when we talk about warm, moist summer and cold, dry winters, 40 degree Fahrenheit to 78 degree Fahrenheit, strongly modified by maritime influence. Cold air from interior can bring down the temperature. Relative humidity, rainfall 25 to 60 inches, densely populated area, uniform rainfall throughout the year. Central China with distinct dry, except Central China with distinct dry season. Okay, then cattle and sheep, lumbering of pine from Uruguay, then Australia, dairying and cane and maize is famous. Three types of regions are there. Very first, China type, Gulf type, and Natal type. So China type, when we talk about central and northern China, including Japan, intense heat and heavy rainfall occurrence of typhoons in Pacific area and South China Sea, southern Japan. Then Gulf type of climate, when we talk about southeast USA, Gulf of Mexico, less monsoonal characteristics, narrow range of temperature due to Gulf of Stream and onshore trade winds, heavy rainfall with no distinct dry place, thunderstorms and hurricanes suited for cotton cultivation. So Gulf type of climate, you can say, suited for cotton cultivation. Natal type of climate, when we talk about it, is mainly for South Africa, Eastern Australia and Southern Brazil and Uruguay and Paraguay, plus northern Argentina. No monsoon characteristics, good for agriculture, violent local storms, berg wind, Boster and Pompero. So in natal type of east climate, no monsoonal characteristics are there, good for agriculture, violent local storms, berg wind, you can say warm wind, buster, which is cold wind, and pampero, which is also a cold wind. Natural vegetation, when we talk about highland coniferous trees, timber species, then lowland deciduous trees, eastern Australia, eucalyptus, Paraguay, we can say Paraguay tea, then evergreen vegetation, grass, baboos, palms, rice cultivation. Economic developments like intensive agriculture, rice, tea, mulberry, sericulture, corn in America from Gulf to Great Lakes, then cotton, Mississippi black prairies as a plantation and cash crops. Then Gulf, you can say fruits, sugarcane, tobacco, Virginia tobacco. Then natal type, cane sugar, maize. Okay, then chapter number 22, which is British type of climate, the cool temperate western margin. So what are the main characteristics? Influence of westerlies are there, then regions of much cyclonic activity, 40 degree Fahrenheit to 60 degree Fahrenheit the temperature, then annual temperature range of only 29 degree Fahrenheit, then western parts so much wetter than eastern margin, four seasons like winter, spring, summer or autumn, Britain, France, Germany, Norway, Western Canada, New Zealand and South China. Then natural vegetation, when we talk about deciduous forest, tall trees, hardwood, oak, elm, ash, birch, then wetter trees like willows, alder, aspen, chestnut, maple and lime. And in Tasmania, you can say apple farming is there. The temperate eucalyptus are extensively used for lumbering industry, wood furniture and paper making also used. Lumbering in Canada, Vancouver city. Economic development, when we talk about fishing, Britain, Norway and British Columbia, Northwest Europe, little surplus for export and a net importer of food crops, mainly wheat, marketing, gardening, intensive cultivation, small farming, fruits shaped by trucks, loomy and pedozolic soil, vegetable potatoes and tomatoes, then mixed farming, when you can say crops for cash and fodder, barley and oats are there, crop of rotation, less rainfall, less than 30 inches, sheep rearing, dual purposes, mutton for mutton and wool, Denmark export became for from pigs for buttermilk. Okay, then different types of sheeps are there. Other agri activities like potatoes, beet sugar, northern western Europe, dry warm areas in England. Chapter number 23, which is related to the cool temperate continental Siberian climate. So what are the main characteristics? Northern hemisphere, it is situated in northern hemisphere. Predominant vegetation is evergreen coniferous forest, stretches across northern America, Europe and Asia. Single band of coniferous forest is taiga, Russian word for coniferous forest. So taiga means which is related to coniferous forest, and taiga is the word of Russian. Okay, it is a Russian word in Siberia. Merge with Arctic tundra in north and steppes in south. So the cool temperate continental Siberian climate, it is merged with the Arctic tundra in north and steppes in south. Then is absent in southern hemisphere. Climate, when we talk about cold long winters and cool brief summers, spring and autumns are transitional. Isotherms 50 degree Fahrenheit for warmest month from the pole poleward boundary of Siberian climate, and winter months are below freezing point. Cold pole of earth, which you can talk about, it is also called as cold pole of earth. Lowest temperature of world in Verkhoyansk minus 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Heavy snowfall, frost in August and September. Winds, when we talk about blizzards of Canada and Buran of Europe, 50 mile per hour and at minus 50 degree Fahrenheit. Siberia is sparsely populated. You can say non-ecumene, unbearable conditions are there. So precipitation, when we talk about 15 to 25 inches of annual precipitation. Conifers need little moisture, transpire less, are best suited. Then low temperature, low evaporation and high relative humidity, even small precipitation is good for tree growth. So European USSR more than 20 inches precipitations are there due to westerlies and cyclones. When ground is ploughed, acidic podogenic soil is improved and some agriculture can be possible. Then when we talk about vegetation, richest source of softwood, conifers, buildings, construction, furnitures, paper pulp industries, rayon and matches. Then greatest softwood production, USSR, USA, then Canada and Canada, Finland, Norway and Sweden. Wood pulp production, chemical and mechanical, USA leads newsprint, Canada leads half of the total production. Then four main species are there: pine, fir and spruce. When we talk about pines, so these are white, red, Scots, jack and lodge pole. And then when we talk about fir, these are Douglas and balsam, then spruce and larch. Okay, then conifers are evergreen, uniform, straight, tall, up to 100 feet towards pole. They are spaced and turn to tundra vegetation. 2 year for fruitification cycle. Seeds pollinated in 1 year and dispersed in next year. Leaves are small, thick, leathery and needle shaped. Small leaves remain for 5 years. Same leaves remain for 5 years. Food stored in trunks. Bark is very thick. Pine and spruce and fir in north, forest while larch in south. Then economic development, when we talk about forest cleared for lumbering, little agriculture, few crops can survive in some sheltered valleys and steppes. Are some cereals like barley, oats, rye and root crops like potatoes raised for local needs. Hunting, trapping and fishing are the main feature. Then local people called as Samoyeds and Yakuts of Siberia. Then trapping for bearing animals like muskrat, then ermine, mink, silver fox, procured for handbags. Then Siberia, squirrels, otters, bears, Lineages, marten, and fox. Lumbering timber is pulped to make wood pulp for paper making and newsprint. Byproduct of timber, chemically processed articles like rayon, paints, dyes, resins, etc. Snow-covered ground makes logging and lodging possible.